Welcome back to another episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show. As always, we're so happy that you're here with us, hanging out, spending some time with us, and just kind of diving into the things that we want to talk about today. And today's going to be an interesting episode because we just need to totally level with you guys right now that we almost didn't record this episode today. Honestly, life in general just feels like a lot. Like it is very overwhelming with everything that we're moving through between Burlington, Oakville, a bunch of personal stuff, and a million other things like on our plate right now. We were so close to saying, let's just skip this week. It'll be fine. We caught ourselves because the whole reason why we started this podcast was to show up authentically, even when life feels chaotic, when life feels messy. And if we're going through this overwhelming, chaotic feeling in our heads, we bet probably some of you guys are too that are tuning into us. And maybe this conversation is exactly what we all need today. So this episode really isn't polished. It's not planned out with perfectly scripted notes or anything like that. It's really just us sitting here talking about what it feels like to have too much on your plate and still just really choose to show up anyway. Because sometimes just showing up, especially when it's hard, is the most important thing that we can do. So, Mom, let's just dive on into it. Let's dive into all of the things that we're moving through and our crazy conversations that we had this morning and the freakouts and all the things that we're moving through to provide a little bit of context.
Thankfully we have each other to go through this with, because I often think about what would it be like going through this by myself. I actually don't think I'd be doing it because it's really wouldn't be fun being alone going through it. But for me, I'm realizing and recognizing a massive financial pressure that I go through is like a trigger for me, probably triggering like childhood stuff and financial stuff when you're a kid and like, whatever, all the traumas and that get imprinted upon you. And we're just dealing with general contractor stuff. We're dealing with designer stuff. We're dealing with architect stuff. We're dealing with needing electrical plans now and trying to figure out who is going to be in charge of doing the permits. Sorry, doing the plans for the permits for the electrical part alone. Because everything else is sort of looked after right now at this point. But it's like, is the architect doing it? Or is the designer doing it? Or do we
Are we
now have
doing
to
it?
bring in electrical engineer? It's crazy, right? So we really haven't, what I'm seeing in myself anyways, I just, where I am today is when I said, screw it, like I just can't even record today because it was frazzled, just completely like my body falling apart of just chaos. Like you guys, I know you know what I'm saying. When you reach that end of your rope, that you can't take on one more conversation, one more person, one more word, one more task. You cannot take it on because you are just blowing up and you can feel yourself do it. So, what I'm learning to do is to sit with myself and create, like become the witness to me and creating that self-awareness for like, what is my trigger right now? What if I just say to myself, this is just temporary, like, for me to get to that other side, like all the things that I'm going through in my head to create a sense of calm, including making adaptogen lattes, lots of ashwagandha today, no caffeine, like no matcha. Everything is like reishi mushrooms and ashwagandha and calming things that are really good for my soul right now to just support it. Because I mean, the last thing I want to do too is say something that I'm going to regret, right? So, sometimes too, when you get into these trigger moments, when you're feeling like really freaked out, you can lash out to someone who you care about so much. And it could be the crews that we have working for us now, or, my daughter or Michael or my mother or whatever. And you're not able to balance your nervous system, like your central nervous system is short circuiting. And anyway, so that's what today's been like. Yeah.
So we just had a little bit of technical difficulties. So we're back. We're going to pick up exactly where we just left off. So, Mom,
But of
you were,
course we did, Erin. Of
of
course
course,
we had.
we did on a day like today. So yeah, I wanted just to pick back up where we left off there. And Mom, you were just saying, like what we're moving through. Like there's just so much energy happening right now. And to boot, tomorrow you're driving into Toronto to go and pick up Nanny Colleen, my grandma, your mom, to come and hang out with us for a couple days on top of it all. So just so much fun.
And I am obsessed with not getting into Toronto traffic. Like I avoid it like the plague. So I will get up at 4 in the morning to leave at 5 in the morning to get to her house, which is right at the most southern part of Toronto, right down there on the water in the beaches. And I'm going to get her at 7. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts right now. And I think, if anyone can relate to this, we all go through these seasons where it's like crazy chaotic and then things slow down. And we tend to just, make everything very chaotic and we just tend to like load things on to us all at once, which is what's happening with Burlington right now. Just so many decisions to be made. So
But
I,
you're superhuman, I thought, Erin. Are you not?
yeah, I
You
don't know
are.
about that. I'm beginning to realize my humanness, I think, through all of this. Um, but I wanted to ask you a question, Mom. So you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but what has been the hardest part about the kind of all this stuff for you in the last month? So the part that really makes you feel like, how am I going to get through all of this? How am I going to do all of this? Like, what part really kind of sticks out as just being so difficult to move through?
Uh, I don't, it's interesting you asked that because I don't know if I've actually dissected it to pick one particular thing. You know, we are going for a lot of money from the bank and, we just live a very transparent life. So guys, come along for the ride because we're going to show you, the places that we fall on our faces and then we dust ourselves off and get back up again. And I mean, that's what really the definition of entrepreneurship too, to me is there's just being this tenacious energy that you never accept defeat. It's like, no, it's just a little bit of a roadblock. Pivot. Okay. So we go that way. No, another roadblock. Okay. We'll go that way because like, you can't say no to me. Like, we're going to figure out a way how to do it. So, right now we're going for really a few $100,000 to the banks and seeing who's going to come back with approvals for us. And it's necessary. Like this is a big project. And I think that some of the things that are difficult for me is saying, okay, excuse me while I say this, my throat's closing up a bit. So it's interesting to see this throat chakra is getting affected right now. This is my belief, right? This is a belief. So fake or real, whatever you want to call it, but it was an imprint on me because that's how society has raised us to live with these illusions and lies. So when you hit a certain age, you should be thinking about retirement. When you hit a certain age, oh, you shouldn't be going into any more debt. When you hit a certain age, you should have a certain amount of money in the bank because you need to retire. And so you're feeling this pressure and tightness in your chest and going, oh, but I'm not there. Like, what is going on? Like I feel like a failure at times. And sorry, but that's affecting me a lot right now. Sorry.
You don't have
So
to be sorry.
getting that notification from the landlord developer to kick us out. And I had a vision of what it was going to look like for one more year, knowing that we were just trying to milk it for as long as possible to cash flow it out to get to a certain level of where we needed to get to financially to go, screw you guys. Okay, great. We're never going to be a tenant again. Create a down payment to buy our own bakery location. And we didn't quite get there, at least with the Burlington prices. So let's be honest, everything's owned by developers and, entry point anywhere is like $3 million. Well, we're just regular Joes and, who has that kind of cash for, obviously not all of it, but just even a down payment, like, figuring that out. It's a big thing to take on. So I feel at my age, and I'm going to challenge myself on that too. So there's that narrative that goes through me. I should be at a certain stage in my life that I should be able to do this no problem. And I should be able to cash flow this out. I should be able to build this, replacement location. Well, this replacement location is a $600,000 build out, guys. So, we're taking over a location. We're dropping a floor. We're redoing the HVAC, redoing the windows. It's old. It's decrepit. The two units have to be combined together. Like it's a lot to do. And we're doing this for, of course, ourselves. We love the challenge and, we want to want to be in business for ourselves. So it's like the price of admission.
Yeah.
It's the price of admission to join the carnival,
Mhm.
the carnival of being an entrepreneur, right? This circus, the circus life, because it's a wild thing. Like we have no path that we're on. We're creating our own path. We're creating our own vision. We're creating our own story. We're writing our chapters every single day of this beautiful book. We hope it's a beautiful book. We hope it's going to have a happy ending. There'll be a happy fairy tale at the end, but to get there, I'm in my 60s now and I'm going, wow, like I'm like not quite slowing down yet. So am I okay? And am I going to be okay? Because, the world society's told me, conditioned us to think that we have to have a certain amount of savings and a certain amount of all these things. Well, you know what? I don't so I am a wild child in that most people freak out when they hear about my life and how I, lay all the money down like on a poker hand because you don't know how it's going to turn out and laying all the money down on this poker hand. And I'm hoping it's a royal flush.
But I mean, also too, you said so many things within that I think are so awesome to like unpack. But we know in our heart of hearts how powerful and how incredible the brand and the business and the company that we have built really is, and the actual like equity, the sweat equity that we've put into this
And
beautiful
good
bright
goodwill, right?
and tons of goodwill. That was the other word I was looking for there, was just actually, like, we know how beautifully supported we're gonna be, but yeah, like, there's a lot of moments where, you and I this morning were, like, getting a little testy with each other and being like, "Holy crap, like, how are we actually gonna move through this?" Because there's so many decisions, there's so many things like, to decide on and to figure out and to just work out the logistics of from the finances to the design to the layout to still figuring out, Oakville and like making sure that that baby is still like running optimally and then still dealing with our own personal lives as well too on top of all of that. And I think this is just such a really cool opportunity for us to share things in such a real and authentic. I think the word authentic is overused, so I can't really think of another word, but just a very real way that like life isn't perfect. Like it's not some perfect thing here where we're just opening up our second or our new flagship location and everything's going to be so great and so
Full of
rosy.
rainbows and unicorns and oh
Yeah.
my God, just
Yeah.
so magical. Oh, it's
Exactly.
so
No, and this is, like, the realness that I think so many people are, like, dying to hear. So, guys, whoever's listening right now, the game of entrepreneurship is a real freaking thing, and it's stressful, and it's overwhelming, and you really have to have your wits about you, and you really have to have a strong stomach because it will knock you down, but then the high of highs are incredible, but then the low of lows are just unbelievable, which we know
when you
in
say that too, like that's an addiction, right?
Mhm,
So there's a dopamine
for
flow,
sure.
and so maybe that's my problem.
Yep.
Maybe I'm just an addict.
And then you've passed
And
that on to
I
me
gave it
too,
to you.
so thank you, mom.
You're welcome. Anytime. Good thing I only have one. You've got all of it too. I don't have any other children. You got all of it.
All of the energy, perfect. I think that that's really, really cool, and, like, from a financial standpoint too, it can be very overwhelming, and I agree with you that I think, that trauma imprint of not feeling like enough and feeling like, oh, that old saying, money doesn't grow on trees. And there's this lack and this like resistance that like, what if things just float? What if everything just worked out? What's the best that could happen? Oh my gosh, you become limitless when you just change your mindset. And this is something that we've talked about in previous episodes, but it's just like that visualization and that like willing your future into reality by your thoughts in today's present day, right? Like, how can you actually move into that beautiful, positive, abundant, healthy, vibrant, incredible life by just the words that you choose to instill in your mind? Because that will actually come true for sure. So,
It will. And
yeah.
and I found myself when I was getting like hijacked by like a financial stress, thoughts, whatever they were, doesn't really matter. It was just, financial stress thoughts, obviously living in lack in my mind. And by staying frozen in that situation, I wasn't able to make decisions for anything else, decisions that were really important to be made, right? To think clearly, to talk about the electrical, to talk about who was going to do the approvals for the electrical drawings, to talk about flooring, to talk about walls that need to get moved. Just like the things that like where's the dish pit going? Like things like that that we were like really trying to discuss. And all I could feel was this sassiness come up in me
That's a good word for it, Mom.
that I just went, fuck it. I don't want to talk right now. I actually can't because I need to get like I'm felt like I was this wild stallion that needed to get corralled and shut down and like just get that put the harness around my neck and just go shut up right now, Kelly. Like go outside, man. So I went outside. I cut some grass for a couple hours. Did some stuff on the property, and the weed eating is really good for that, right? Weed whacking everything and cutting all the weeds down. But I actually just went out there and sat on my step with my this latte, and I went, I'm gonna listen to the wind. I'm gonna listen to the birds, and just I'm gonna see what comes up in me. Like just feel what comes up in me. And I sent myself so much love for this journey that I've been on, because this last few years has been difficult going through a divorce too and 22 with it all. And that's coming up for me right now too. There's parts of me that I'm just going to be honest if I could right now is, reflecting on my life with him and building out the first Kelly's Bake Shop with him in 2012 and all of the fun memories. I mean, some bad times too, lots of clashing, but that's typical. But honoring that and loving that, so much because he was such a big part of the birth of Kelly's Bake Shop. And I never want to stuff that down and forget about it because that's not who I am. I really truly love that. I loved our relationship. And anyway, so that's come up for me today too. And just going, I'm alone doing this and I'm, all this, like all the stuff I'm doing. And I'm going, oh, do I want to do this alone? Like I'm beating myself over money or not having a relationship or, taking on this workload and I'm exhausted. And I'm just venting with you guys right now. So you're going to hear this firsthand that life is such a beautiful journey. And we have to harness like eating this fleeting moment that we have, and what our soul lesson is through it doesn't always have to be hard, but the hard times too are the times that you grow in. And I know how much I've changed and learned from in these freaking hard times that I've changed and honored and love in such a newfound way. Not a completely different way. It's just like a Kelly 2.0 of of loving and embracing and surrendering and allowing. So today to me has just been a beautiful lesson day, as much as it was really hard that we started in the morning and saying I don't even do a fucking podcast today. I don't want to record a podcast. And Aaron just goes, Mom,
Okay.
let me know when you've chilled out a bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk in a bit. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Hang up. But I think that, for you to, I mean, both of us to reflect, because obviously I've been doing reflecting too throughout all of this. And it's like, you have to really like think about what the things that like you're talking about there, right? With who helped us all along the way and just really showing that gratitude. And it goes back to the episode from last week when we were talking about just how finite life is and just being so present and having fun throughout this whole journey that we're on right now and having fun and really enjoying every single moment because what's it all for? I mean, I'm just so grateful. I'm thinking about the fact that I get to be in business with my mom. We get to go through these highs and these lows and all this chaotic, crazy stuff, but all this amazing stuff too. And it's such a beautiful blessing to be able to do this with you and to actually build something that like thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are just, they love Kelly's Bake Shop. It's honestly incredible, you guys. Over the past 4 days, I've been recognized up north. We live north of the city. We live about 2 hours north of the city here. And I was recognized by someone at our little fall fair that we have here around the corner. And this girl was like, oh my gosh, I love your bakery so much. Then I was in Oakville the other day.
Population, can we just say this population like 200, okay, guys? And Erin gets recognized by someone who lives in her little village of 200.
Yeah. Then I'm in Oakville. I'm like cashing out there at the Whole Foods down there. And this lovely couple stopped me and said, oh my gosh, Erin, we are so excited for you to come back to Burlington. Just like lost their mind. Then I'm in Tamp yesterday in downtown Burlington. We're there in Burlington doing some meetings. Tamp Coffee. Shout out Maya and Jimmy. You guys are great that I was there. And this lovely guy came up to me and he just like lost his mind. He just had beautiful words to say about us and the leadership that we provide to the community. And it's just in those moments, it's like, whoa, you really think about the impact. And I think that's where I just kind of keep bringing myself back to all the time, is just like how blessed I feel and how grateful I am. And yes, it's difficult in moments, but what a beautiful blessing to be able to touch the hearts of thousands of people and to be able to do it with my mom. What?
That's the reward.
It is.
And that's the reminder, right? So when you needed those moments and you get fed, you're given those nudges to go, okay, this is why. And I think I told you too what had happened to me in Whole Foods. Was it maybe 2 weeks
Oh,
ago
yeah.
now?
It's
And I
good.
was just randomly in there getting some juices and stuff, and literally for 15 minutes, I mean, whatever, not even that, what am I talking about? 5 or 10 minutes or something. Anyways, very short. 3 different people came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're Kelly from Kelly's Bake Shop," and losing their minds. And then the third one came up to me at when I was cashing out, and she said, "You're Kelly from Kelly's Bake Shop." Oh my God. She turned to her mom, "Mom, this is Kelly from Kelly's Bake." They both lost their minds. She goes, "Do you know you're famous?" I went, "Oh my gosh." It's
We should really write all of these down because some of the things that some people say is just classic. Like it's just so awesome.
planes, flight
Yes.
attendants, all the I like, it's crazy. We get recognized everywhere, but,
Yeah. But
anyways, it's
yeah,
such an honor.
it is. Yeah. But
Such an
I think that this episode is a healing episode for
'Cause I'm blubbering? Right,
us
okay.
to just really talk through all of this stuff that we're moving through and these hard, difficult times and this like, I don't want to say resistance, but just like bigness of what we're moving through right now and the magnitude of it. It's like it can be overwhelming sometimes, but it takes us taking a step back, touching some grass, meditating, having a bath, whatever it is that you need to do to just recenter yourself, get back into, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is why our mission at Kelly's Bake Shop is so important, and get back to that and really then be able to take that next step forward with a beautiful, clear heart and a clear mind. Yeah.
So true. I really think that you nailed it when you say, like, gratitude changes everything. It's like the rinse cycle of a washing machine, right? Just cleanses everything. Like, that's what gratitude is. It cleanses energy, it cleanses thoughts, it shifts you, it clears things up. And you sit with that gratitude of, like, my heart is bursting wide open. And I think that that's what today has been, though, too, for me, is like what an honor to go into debt that much. Think about that. How many people get to go into debt for their dream, again, you know what I mean? Like, of like something so big, and going, wow, like, but I'm not afraid. I think I'm not afraid. It was just being a little bit of a suck, maybe, or, of just needing to get some sassiness out of my system and recentering and rejigging, like, where my focus needs to be. Because the more I stay with that lack mindset is just it's so crippling, but I'm just going to get more of it. So I need to shift and get out of that to go, okay, yeah, like, the gratitude is, my God, I'm with my kid every single day. Who gets to say that, that they work with their child, with their daughter, or son, whatever, every single day. And for the most part, we get along. And for the most part, I
For
love
the
her to
most
death.
part.
Yeah, for the most part. And, for the most part, she's not a jerk. So she's a good girl. And, but I just like what a way to grow. And what I love about being with Erin all the time too is that there's this mirroring of both of our energies, and I know it's like there's never going to be a retreat from it, that we're so trustworthy for each other that we're both not going anywhere. Where, sometimes you lose relationships and people can walk and whatever, you know, like, this is my do or die, my North Star forever. And it's just such an honor to work with Erin, who is this grounded, beautiful soul as well, that going, wow, how's she my kid? Because she teaches me beautiful things every single day. And it's just such an honor to grow this business and to grow this legacy. It's a legacy. I mean, we're doing these podcasts because we love you guys so much. We love life so much. We love being in, like, service and in such gratitude for, like, what we can give to the world of this needing love and needing connection so much. This is where we have to be. Just these real, authentic, raw conversations. No bullshit. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode today. I feel like I'm moving through something so big. Erin's just laughing. Mom, oh my God. And you guys are going to see my nervous breakdown in real time.
Kelly's getting rid of all that sass she had earlier, you guys, and now it's just coming out in tears, and then she's gonna be reset. It's great.
It is. But this is my Virgo. This is what's in 2 days, Erin, too. Like I'm right at my birth, you know,
Perfect. Mhm.
cycle.
Yep.
I call it a
Crazy.
cycle,
Yep.
but I'm going back in time. I said, we're not celebrating this year. It's backwards. So this is 37 and holding. This is where I am.
Perfect. I love it.
Biologically 37.
Love it. Nailed it. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Kelly and Erinn Show. We hope you guys got something from this very raw, real, unfiltered, unscripted version of us and what we're really moving through opening Burlington and everything else that is going on in life right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. It honestly means the absolute world to us. We are so grateful for your love, for your support at Kelly's Bake Shop too. If you haven't been to our business, maybe you're listening from somewhere else that maybe you want to come take a drive and come and hang out with us at Kelly's Bake Shop. We're in beautiful downtown Oakville. You can visit us online too, kellysxo.com. And if you loved this episode, please subscribe to our podcast. Please leave us a review. We would be so grateful for it. And until next time, we'll chat soon.